What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. For the every average day black man in America, dating is getting more difficult. And I know what guys are going to say. There's Tinder, there are other online sites, there's Facebook. And while that can be true, the dating disparity on dating apps is even more difficult than people really understand. I did a video about this not too long ago, and they said that the dating disparity, if it was like a country, it would be like South Africa or Venezuela. Now, what does that really mean? That means that in South Africa, the wealth coefficient or the wealth disparity between the rich and the poor is ginormous. What do I really mean when I say that? In the United States, there are a lot of rich people, but there are a lot of middle class people because the wealth is more evenly spread out in countries like the United States. But now in South Africa, there's few rich people, but very many poor people, meaning that on Tinder, only the best looking guys are really getting matched, while the average lady is getting matched around 50 to 60% of the times. Again, creating another disparity for most men, including black men. And also, let's not look at the fact that Tinder doesn't take into your account how hard you work, how educated you are, your personality, whether you're a hard worker or a good mate. So let's look at those things. So now, if you're a black man and you're in the black community and you might want to go and approach women, you're even more intimidated now because it may take you like 10 approaches to get 2 or 3 numbers, and you play those little text message games and you might actually get one date that ends in nothing really occurring and you're back to the drawing board. So for a lot of guys, approaching black women in the States, it's really been somewhat difficult. Now, what you're seeing actually from certain guys is a few separate things. Number one, some guys are going overseas, and we kind of know what that's about. You know, some dudes are going to Brazil, some dudes are going to Colombia, some dudes are going to the Philippines, some dudes are even going to countries in Africa. But now other men are concentrating their efforts in a wider dating pool. That means they're dealing in either the black diaspora. That means, women from Africa in the States, women from, the other countries, Latin American countries, or sticking with white women. Now let's talk about that. Outside of being, the Latin American countries are dating overseas, white women typically are the next best option for black men looking to date outside of the black race. The reason is because it's a lot of white women. Many of them can also tend to be unmatched. They tend to sometimes have favorable environments towards black men. And so once black men see that, you see some black men even relocating to certain states, like black men going to like places like Montana or North Dakota or Nebraska or Wyoming or Minnesota, trying to get, hooked up with these particular black women. Now, what happens also, even in cities like Sacramento, where I'm from, you will find black men specifically going to clubs where they feel that black women will not be at. And it's not that they don't like black women. They actually feel that they have no actual shot at getting black women. So what they do is when they see black women in clubs all across the country, you have certain black men who look to avoid black women altogether for the fear of that they're not going to talk to them. And so because of that, what you're seeing now is black women complain about the fact that black men are not approaching them. I know you don't believe me, but let's check out this particular video and you'll find out.
The way black men are up the white girl's skirts at Bob Blonde is not even funny. The moment you pass by a black man, in bottom line. They go, they don't want to touch you at all. Oh, it's literally not. I don't know what comes over these black men. They are gone. They want no part. I'm good.
It's even gotten so bad that you have some people online warning white women that black men are probably only dating them because of the hatred that they have for black women. Let's watch this.
If you're a white woman dating a black man, please stop scrolling and listen to me. If the black man that you're with, if his only reason for dating you is because he doesn't like black women, then you need to dump him like ASAP. He should only be with you because he thinks you're beautiful, not because he hates black women.
So let me just say this, right? A lot of times the average black man who's dating, like, let's say the average looking white woman, it's clear as day that, you know, these black women would typically not even be interested in these black men at all. Like, they don't think they make enough money, or they don't think that they have enough to offer. But now what you see is, even if it's like a black man who's in his, you know, older years and he's dating a white woman, you will still find black women come and insult the white woman for dating black men. And I'm going to give an example of something like this here on TikTok, where you have a white woman who actually uses her platform to uplift black women. And then you have black women insulting her because she is dating a black man. Let's check it out.
I'm the type that most black men who date white women go after. Well, what type might that be? Please educate us, because I'm curious to know what that is.
Please do. There's so much shit going on in this world. You get your silly ass on here and say some dumb ass shit like that. You got to be a lonely motherfucker.
You're what's wrong with the world too, honey.
So ultimately, what do I think about all of this? Well, this is, you know, not turning a new leaf. This is something that we've been seeing all along. We've been seeing the last of what we consider the Mohicans. Now, black men already were, you know, being a little bit more disinterested. I'm not saying that they're not as interested in black women, because obviously they still are. They're just becoming a lot less disinterested. And especially the black men who are coming from the emerging black populations. Let's say, for example, the Nigerian American blacks, the Caribbean blacks, the Ghanaian American blacks. These are black men that tend to have no consequence for dating white women. In fact, it's not looked at down upon in their culture as much. So if they get a white wife and you're Nigerian American, it's not looked at as bad as it is if you're African American man and you get a white woman, or a FBA or ADOS black man. So now you see that these things are occurring more often, and we're not really looking at what the root problem is. And the root problem is like, oh, these black men won't talk to you. It's that you don't want these guys in the first place. So these particular guys have went to where they felt they have a more of an opportunity. And now some of these ladies are upset that these men are going for opportunity that they would not have been able to get with you. And I know for a fact, like, certain brothers who have white women, you know, there was like not as much of an income requirement, you know, but with a black woman, it's almost like, hey, you know, you need to already have X, Y, and Z. You should have X, Y, and Z job. You should have X, Y, and Z career before you come and deal with somebody like me. Like, you know, I need this, I need that. And depending on if the guy is average looking, they'll require more. If he's not as tall, they'll require more. And you're seeing the women from the other communities coming in saying like, you know, hey, well, you know, you're a good man based on these qualities. And I'm kind of dealing with you based on, you know, everything else that might not be as physical. Whereas with, you know, some black women, it's like you need to be, you know, physically in the situation, or you need to have the money right away. So I don't understand what the fuss is about when most sisters do not want the average black guy. They just don't. They want the high achievers, overachievers, or extra good looking guys. And if you're not one of those dudes, typically you have a problem. You have a problem, right? And that's something that needs to be talked about. But guys, what do we think? It's your boy L. Duke Jackson. Back at it again. Appreciate you for all that you do. We're out.